Dear students, in the previous session, we have started force vibration system under harmonically excitation forcing function, in which we have studied what is force vibration system, what is the need of force vibration analysis. We have also gone through the derivation through which we have derived the equation of motion. We have also seen the response of force vibration system, which includes the transient vibration plus steady state vibration. In this session, we will see the why to analyze the force vibration we have to analyze the steady state vibration. We will also see the characteristic curves. These characteristic curves are nothing but to analyze the force vibration system under harmonic excitation. This curve includes the frequency response curve. The frequency response curve is nothing but the variation of magnification factor against the variation in frequency ratio. We will also see the phase frequency response curve, which represents the variation in phase angle versus variation in frequency ratio. Here new term is frequency ratio. So the frequency ratio is nothing but the ratio of frequency of force or forcing frequency to the natural frequency of the system. At the end, in today's session, we will see the transmissibility. Transmissibility defines the term which represent that how much force which is applied to the system will transfer to the foundation. Okay. So let us start. We have seen then that the general solution of force vibration system is the x equal to xc plus xp, where xc represent the transient vibration and xp represent the steady state vibration. For all practical system subjected to harmonic excitation, the transient vibration die out within a short time. This term will die out within a short time. This means in the response of the displacement against the time, we will not find much transient vibration. Okay, it only represents generally during the starting of the response. So the transient vibration die out within a short time, leaving only the steady state vibration. So it is important to know the steady state behavior of the system when subjected to different excitation frequency. This excitation frequency is nothing but the values of omega. It is not omega n. So the behavior of the system means analysis of steady state amplitude, which we will see in terms of magnification factor, as magnification factor is the ratio of amplitude A to the xs, which we have already defined. So xs is nothing but the zero frequency deflection and the phase lag. We have already derived this equation of magnification factor, which is nothing but ratio of A to XS, where A is the steady state amplitude and XS, as I told you, it's a zero frequency deflection. And the phase angle phi is equal to tan inverse A zeta 2 zeta omega divided by omega n upon 1 minus omega by omega n square. So we can see here in both the equation, A, for the equation of magnification factor, A is related to frequency ratio omega by omega n. Same way, the phase angle phi is also related to frequency ratio omega by omega n. Right? Now we will see how this characteristic curves will behave or how they appear when we plot against magnification factor as well as for the phase angle. So the frequency ratio is already defined. The ratio of omega to omega n is called the frequency ratio, where omega is the frequency of excitation. So a curve between frequency ratio and magnification factor is known as the frequency response curve. This equation we have already derived, and here also, as we know that A is related to omega by omega n, means amplitude related to frequency ratio. So the curve will appear like this. This curve is plotted for different value of zeta. For particular value of zeta, we can have this kind of curve. Okay? Second curve is the phase frequency curve. So the curve between frequency ratio and phase angle is known as phase frequency response curve. For that, we'll consider this equation of phi. Here phi, as I told you, the phi is related to omega by omega n. So the response curve will appear like this. Here again each curve is plotted for particular value of zeta, that is damping factor. Now one by one we will see the frequency response curve as well as phase frequency response curve. So let us start with the frequency response curve. It is magnification factor versus frequency ratio. Here M represents the magnification factor. So from the plot we can see that for higher value of damping, means higher value of zeta, the frequency response curve is lie below those for lower damping. Means we can say that the for higher damping ratio, okay, the curve is below the lower damping factor curve. Okay. At zero frequency, the magnification factor is unity. Means at this point, zero frequency means at this point. Okay. The magnification factor is unity, which is independent of any value of zeta. Okay. So at zero frequency, the magnification factor is unity and is independent of damping. It means magnification factor 1 means A equal to XS, which itself is a zero frequency deflection. At at very high frequency means this region. Okay, in this region at very high frequency the magnification factor trends to 0, means here it tries to approaches to 0, or the amplitude of vibration become very small, okay, which is also independent of damping factor. What happens at the resonance? So at resonance the amplitude of vibration becomes excessive for small damping. See, these two curves are mainly for the zeta equal to 0, means undamped vibration system. So at the resonance this tries to become infinite, means amplitude tries to become infinite. But as the zeta increases, this amplitude is trying to decrease. So by increasing the damping we can avoid the resonating condition of the system. Okay. So at the resonance the amplitude of vibration becomes excessive for small damping and decrease with increase in damping. I hope this frequency response curve is clear. Okay. Now we'll see the next, that is phase frequency response curve. That is nothing but phase angle versus frequency ratio. So y-axis represents the phase angle, x-axis is nothing but the frequency ratio. Again this plot, all these plots are for different values of zeta. Now we'll see what is happening. At resonance frequency the phase angle is 90 degree, means if you consider frequency ratio of 1, that means this value. Okay, so at this point, irrespective of value of zeta, all the curves coincide at this point, means at resonance the phase angle is pi by 2, that is 90 degree. Phase angle increases with decreasing values of damping above resonance. Above resonance means we have to consider this region. In this region, if you consider the particular value of frequency ratio, the phase angle increases with decreasing values of damping factor, means for zeta 1 the respective phase angle value is this value, but as the damping decreases, means zeta equal to 0.5, the phase angle value we can say increases. Again suppose zeta is equal to 0.2, the phase angle value increases. For 0.1 it is again increases, and zeta equal to 0 it is 180. Now what will happen in this particular region? Let us say phase angle decreases with decreasing value of damping below resonance, means in this region. As the damping decreases, the phase angle value is also decreasing, right? So in these two regions it behaves in different way. Also we can say that for the region above the resonance, means in this particular regions, the phi value of phi phase angle varies between 90 to 180, while In the region below the resonance, the value of phi varies between 0 to pi by 2, that is 0 to 90 degree. Okay. Now we will see what happens when zeta equal to 0. So without damping, that is nothing but undamped system. Phase angle is either 0 degree or 180 degree. 0 degree or 180 degree, irrespective of value of frequency ratio. Okay. And phase angle suddenly changes from 0 to 180 degree at resonance. So we can see at the resonance this curve is a straight vertical line. Okay. So below the resonance, the value of phase angle for undamped vibration system, that is zeta equal to 0, is 0 degree, and suddenly above the resonance the value of phase angle phi is 180 degree. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next we will see the transmissibility. Consider this figure as any machine which is mounted on the foundation, which is subjected to forcing function F, harmonic function F. Okay, and there is a spring element as well as damping element. So the transmissibility is the ratio of the force transmitted at the foundation, means this reason to the disturbing force. Disturbing force is here F. Okay, so ultimately TR, transmissibility TR, is defined as Ft by F. The spring force Kx and damping force is C into X dot. Okay. This is known to us. Now the amplitude of vibration is A. Here forcing function is A sin omega t. The amplitude of vibration is A. So the maximum value of spring force is defined as K into A, and the maximum damping force is C omega A. These terms are already known, right? Now we know that the spring force and damping force are perpendicular. So the force transmitted to the foundation Ft is given as Ft equal to under root K square plus C omega A square. Here, if you consider the foundation, only spring force and damping force are acting on the foundation, while on the mass M, the disturbing force F is acting. Okay, so force transmitted to the foundation is due to spring force and damping force, that is defined as Ft. Okay, now we know the equation for amplitude A as this is known, right? So from here you can find out F. So F is nothing but AK under root 1 minus omega by omega square whole square plus 2 zeta omega by omega n square. So transmissibility can be defined like this. Here again we can use k as a common. Okay, so we can eliminate ak, okay, term a into k and a into k can be eliminated. So we can further simplify this numerator like this, and this value is already known, c omega by k equal to 2 zeta omega by omega n. So by substituting this, we'll finally derive the equation of transmissibility, okay, in terms of frequency ratio. Ft by f equal to 0.25. This means the system has 25% transmissibility. This means if 100 Newton force is applied to this mass m, then only 25 Newton load will be transmitted to the foundation, right? So transmissibility is helpful to design the vibrating system, okay, such that foundation based on its types of material, okay, foundation remains safe. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, thank you.